What's up, guys? Before the video begins, I have to apologize. I totally screwed up with the camera that I was wearing on my chest. I had a GoPro mounted to my chest so you could actually see me working on the stuff because this is kind of different from what I normally do. Most of my videos are me moving big things. It's easy to see what I'm doing in the time lapse, but since I was working on the engine, I decided to mount a camera on my chest, and somehow I set it up just to take 1,000,000 pictures. It took about like 470 during the process. So I have no time lapse footage. This video is just going to be me pointing to stuff, and I apologize. I just want to put a video out there. This is not going to be my greatest video, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there anyways, just because it's been 3 weeks since we've done one, and we will definitely do better on the next one. Yeah, I just wanted to come in here and tell you that I kind of screwed up on that, and I apologize for messing up on that.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I have posted a video. It's been almost 3 weeks now since I posted a video, and why is that? I really don't have a lot of filmable things that have been going on. Mostly I've been waiting on parts. I've been ordering different things for the fuel system, different things for the electrical, because we're about to dive into the harness, and I just don't know how to film the harness to make that interesting. I'm gonna do my best with it. I might watch some other YouTubers that have done harness stuff to see maybe how I can make that harness interesting, but nobody wants to watch me dig through this harness completely to make a video. So mostly for now today, I'll probably just show you what I have. I might strap a GoPro to my chest while I'm, hopefully taking all this harness off so I can get to the fuel pump on the side of the engine and put the block off plate in and start getting it set up. Because I've got some new parts. That's really where I've been, is I've been trying to save for new parts. So let's show you kind of what I'm working with here. We have the factory harness on here. I've been going through all the wiring and labeling my water pressure. I used an adapter to put a brand new GM water pressure sensor in it, and I also used an adapter over here to put a brand new oil pressure sending unit in there. We've also labeled some AC wires. We've just been trying to go through, figure out what wires we actually need, because a lot of this stuff we're not going to need anymore. Like this whole harness, I want to say, is all transmission for a 4L80E. I'm not using a 4L80E. I don't need that. So I'm going to be able to strip a lot of this stuff off that was to the 6.5 Detroit diesel and ditch it, because I'm just not using it with this setup. The Cummins is simple. It needs oil pressure. It needs water temperature. And I need to make all the accessories work that I want to be able to use still. I've been buying all new sensors because I want everything new on this that I possibly can externally. Like we got the new fan clutch, we got the new tensioner, we got a new AC compressor. I have a new accumulator back there, and most of a new condenser, brand new GM alternator, brand new GM starter. New stuff as much as possible. This is the BD diesel block off plate for the little thumb pump. I also have a BD diesel, or no, this isn't BD diesel. This is BD diesel, this little fuel pin here. And then this is, why am I forgetting who that is now? Anyways, I can list that over, but it's just a billet block off plate that I'll list down in the information below. It just allows you to block that little thumb plate that you can see back there in the dark. And it just blocks it off because I'm not going to need that anymore. And then the fuel pin is for the pump. The reason I'm not going to need that little thumb pump anymore is because if you come over here, let me get this focused. I went ahead and ordered an Airdog 150 setup. I just figured this was really more the route I wanted to go with the fuel. So we got the Airdog 150, that way we can get that installed. But instead of just doing that, by installing that like most people would to the lift pump, I went ahead and ordered this sump pump that I'm going to have to cut a hole in the bottom of the tank, empty the tank out, so we can mount this sump in the bottom of the tank. Going to be interesting when we do the air ride, because this is not air ride friendly because GM tanks already hit the ground. We have a new transmission mount right there. So that's going to go in, and that's for the 48RE that I still need to modify my transmission for. And then other than that, I've just been taking apart this Allison and trying to get stuff out of the garage and out of my way. the guy who I sent my adapter for the Allison to in Saudi Arabia needed my bell housing, so I told him, hey, I'll just give it to you for free as long as you pay shipping. And we figured since I was going to ship him the bell housing, the one that has the sensor on it, went ahead and ordered him a fuel pin. That way he's got that. And then, oh, I got him a gasket for it. So he's got a couple things in which, you know, we can just ship in one shot versus him, you know, having to order. Well, I mean, he paid for all this stuff, but versus him having to ship everything separately from America to Saudi Arabia, which would probably be a pain because he just received the transmission adapter that I shipped almost 3 weeks ago. So getting ready to ship all that out. Hopefully going to give this Allison away, put the pump back on it and the pump mount, and throw that torque converter on there and get rid of that for free. I'm just going to give that away to somebody, even though it does look pretty good now that I'm finally inside of it. Definitely looks pretty good, but not for what I'm doing. This is not the transmission for me. With the air ride and stuff, other transmission is definitely the route I would like to go. I really haven't been able to figure out how to make wiring interesting. I think I'm gonna go ahead and throw a GoPro on my chest and just kind of get into it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull the wiring harness off and start working on that fuel block off plate and taking all the old fuel system stuff off. That way we can start getting ready for the Airdog. That way we can get the Airdog on there, get this wiring stuff kind of figured out, just everything plugged in. We can start the engine, make sure it gets up to temperature and the gauges are reading, make sure the oil pressure is reading, and then we can start tearing all the wiring out that we don't need. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm just gonna kind of hopefully dive into it here. All right, guys, we're back. Didn't really get a whole lot done tonight. I'm probably gonna need some tools, and maybe y'all could help me with some of this stuff. If y'all or anybody on here has done an Airdog on a Cummins setup, let me zoom in here, and this is a very tight area that you cannot get a wrench on those to tighten them. How do you tighten those things? I mean, it is basically, there is something on all sides of that. So I haven't figured out how I'm gonna get that tight yet. It doesn't need to be super tight, but it does need to be tight. As you can see, I have the starter setting in there, but it still needs to be tightened down because I'm missing one of my bolts. I don't know what I did with it. We went ahead and took the fuel pump off and got the block off plate on, and pretty much removed all the lines to the factory little pump setup over here. Just got everything out of the way. So really I just need to get this tightened up so I can start piecing together the rest of the fuel system. And once the fuel system is together, we can go ahead and basically test fire this thing again. Just make sure it fires up with the new fuel system. I think I'm gonna go a different route. I was talking to my friend who came over, and I know I'm gonna do air ride. I should probably put a fuel cell in this, but then comes the question of what size fuel cell should I run. Original tank is a 32 gallon, not really looking like I can buy a fuel cell that big. I might have to make something or find somebody to make something because I don't aluminum weld, especially out of my garage. But I need to figure out a fuel idea. A fuel cell would be a better option just because eventually I was going to move that tank for the air ride anyways, completely out of there. And maybe I can still move it and use it and just hide it, but a fuel cell would be better. So that is an option. But mostly I just need to figure out how to tighten up those lines. That way I can get fuel to the motor, test fire this thing, make sure all my sensors are reading, see if my gauge cluster actually works, and just kind of go from there. See kind of what happens with this thing once it actually fires up and runs. But we're done for the night. I'm kind of out of energy and out of time. I want to edit this video. I want to put something on the channel because it has been a while since I've actually put something out. But yeah, if y'all have any questions or anything, or even if you can give me an answer on what kind of wrench I need to be using in such a tight area where I can't get to hardly any side of that bolt, let me know. I'd really hate to have to pull the entire front off this engine just so I can try to tighten the bolt, because I'd have to pull all the timing stuff off, and eventually I'm gonna have to pull some timing stuff off anyways to tune the pump after I do the pin and the governor, unless there's one already in there. Problems of buying a used engine, you just don't know what's done to it. So we'll see kind of what happens as I go, but really I just want to fire this thing up in the truck, make sure the gauges work, see what I can narrow out of my harness, and just try to get everything cleaned up. That way we can go ahead and pull this thing out, get it painted, get it powder coated, paint the engine bay, and just start putting this thing together. I am ready to drive this truck, and that's really most importantly where we're at. A lot of the video is gonna be terrible. I was wearing a chest harness to try to record what I was doing, and I think a lot of times it's just pointing in the wrong direction, so I'm gonna have to edit out a bunch of the time lapse of me working on this thing. But yeah, if y'all can, if y'all know maybe what I'm supposed to be using to tighten that thing, leave it in the comments below. Check out my Instagram. You can always message me on there and let me know what I'm doing wrong. Because again, I'm not a professional. I don't know diesel. I'm just a guy in his garage doing the best he can to put together a truck that he doesn't fully understand. It's my first step into diesel, so I'm just kind of learning as I go. But all in all, I appreciate y'all guys watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, typical YouTube stuff. And definitely comment below. I usually always answer back. And y'all guys have a good night.